computers are becoming more popular and almost necessary in 21st century. Here is the definition of computer. Computer is an advanced electronic device that takes data as an input from the user and processes this data under the control of set of instructions. We call it a program, and it gives out the result as an output and save the output for the future use. Computer does only four things, which is it accepts data as an input, it processes data, which we call processing, and it produces the outputs, which we call the output, and it stores the results, which we call storage. So if you input your data into a computer, the computer is going to process the data and then bring out the information, whether you want to use the information at that moment or you want to store the information for future use. This is a typical example of a desktop computer. This is the monitor. This is the CPU. This is the keyboard, mouse, the CD-ROM, and the wireless card, and the cables. Thank you. The evolutions of digital computing is often divided into generations. Each generation is characterized by dramatic improvements over previous generations in the technology used to build the computers. The internal organization of computer systems and programming languages. Generations, we have 5 computer generations, starting from the first, second, third, fourth, and the fifth generation, which uses vacuum tube for the first generation, transistors for the second generation, integrated circuit for third generation, and microprocessors for fourth generation, and also ultra large scale integration, which uses AI for the fifth generation. The fourth generation computers, which started between 1946 to 1958, first generation computers. The first computers used vacuum tubes for circuitry and magnetic drums for memory, and were often numerous, taking up entire room. That means they are very large. They can take about the entire room. Look at the example of the first generation computers, which is very large. And this is the vacuum tube that used for circuitry, which serves as the processor for first generation computers. And this is the magnetic drums, which serves as storage devices for the first generation computers. Second generation computers started between 1959 to 1946, where transistors replaces the vacuum tubes and ushered in the second generation of the computers. One transistor replaced the equivalent of 40 vacuum tubes, allowing computers to become smaller, faster, cheaper, and more energy efficient and more reliable. This is the typical example of second generation computers. Their size had been reduced, and then this is the example of transistors that are used in second generation computers as a processing component. Third generation, which started between 1965 to 1970s, the third generation computers, the development of integrated circuits was the hallmark for the third generation of computers. Transistors were miniaturized and placed on silicon chips called semiconductors, which drastically increased the speed and efficiency of computers. Much smaller and cheaper compared to the second generation computers, it could carry out instructions in billions of seconds. This is the typical example of third generation computers. The size has been reduced, the speed has increased, and also efficiency has also increased. This is the example of integrated circuit, which we call ICs, that we use as a processing device for the third generation computers. Fourth generation computers would start from 1971 till date. The microprocessors brought the fourth generation of computers as thousands of integrated circuits were built onto a single silicon chip. which is called microprocessor. All these small computers become more powerful. They could be linked together to form networks, which eventually lead to the development of internet. Fourth generation computers also saw the development of GUIs, the mouse, and the handheld devices. This is an example of fourth generation computer. This is the processor example you can see. Then fifth generation computers. The fifth generation, we are using it today and it will continue in future. Is based on artificial intelligence AI, still in development. The use of parallel processing and semiconductors is helping to make artificial intelligence a reality. The goal is to develop devices that respond to natural languages and are capable of learning and self-organization. AI is a new technology that will allow users to interact with the robots. This is an example of robot. If you speak to this robot, it will respond just like the way human do. It will think and give you a reply. Computers are classified based on the size, based on work, based on purposes. Classes of computer based on size is microcomputers, mini computers, mainframe computers, and supercomputers. Then classification of computer based on work is analog, digital computer, and hybrid computers. Based on purposes is we have a special purpose and we have a general purpose. These are the examples of classes of computers. Analog computers, they are used in solving scientific and mathematical equations and problems, while an analog computer is a type of computer that uses a continuous variation aspect of physical phenomena such as electrical, mechanical, or hydraulic quantities. Analog signals to model the problem being solved. This is a typical example of an analog computer, which is used for measurements. Then the second type of class of computer is a digital computer. Digital computers is any class of device capable of solving problems by processing information and in discrete form. It operates on data including magnitude, letters, and symbols that are expressed in binary code, that is using only the two digits, which is zeros and one. This is a typical example of a digital computer. And hybrid computers, a computer that combines the features of digital and the analog computer is called a hybrid computer. Hybrid computers are computers that exhibit features of analog computers and digital computers. The digital component normally serves as the controllers and provide a logical and numerical operations, while analog components often serves as a solver of differential equations and other mathematical complex problems. This is a typical example of a hybrid computer. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos. We have so many types of computers, starting from supercomputers, mainframe computers, mini computers, microcomputers, and workstations. So these are examples of types of computers. Let's check them each and discuss about them. Supercomputers. A supercomputer is the most powerful computer available at any given time. These machines are built to process a huge amount of information and to do so very quickly. Supercomputers are built specifically for researchers or scientists working on projects that demand a very huge amount of data variables. They are big in size, generate a lot of heat, and are very expensive. This is a typical example of supercomputers. We have the second type of computer is a mainframe computer. The mainframe computers are the largest type of computers in common use. Are the mainframe computers. They are designed to handle tremendous amount of inputs and outputs and storage. They are used mainly by large organizations. Other users access mainframe computers through terminals. Terminals consist of a type of keyboard and a video display, that is monitors. The mainframe is usually in the computer room look at the typical example of a mainframe computer. The third type is mini computers. Mini computers, these are physically small compared to mainframe and supercomputers, and they are generally used for special purposes or small scale general purpose. The best way to explain the capabilities of mini computers is to say they lie between the mainframe and personal computers. That means they are bigger than microcomputers or personal computers, but they did not reach up to mainframe computers. Although some microcomputers are designed for a single user, many can handle dozens or even hundreds of terminals. This is an example of a mini computer. Then workstation. Workstation between mini computers and microcomputers is term of processing power is a class in terms of processing power is a class of computers known as a workstation. A workstation looks like a personal computer and is typically used by one person, although it is still more powerful than the average personal computer. The differences in the capabilities of this type of machines are growing smaller. They are significantly differ from microcomputers. That means a workstation is another example of microcomputers, but have more processing capabilities than micro or personal computers. They are used for special purpose or any general purpose. Then we have microcomputers. Microcomputers or personal computers. The term microcomputers and personal computers are used interchangeably to mean the small free standing computers that are commonly found in offices, houses, and classrooms and anywhere. This is example a desktop PC, the laptop, the handheld, the PDA, and even your smartphones are all example. All of them are type of microcomputers. Thank you for watching us. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Personal computers consist of two major components, which is the hardware component and the software component. The hardware component is a physical component of computer system. Generally, you can think of hardware as any part of computer that you can see or touch. Although the hardware of computer is capable of performing marvelous tasks, it cannot accomplish any of them without the vital instruction that the software provides. That means hardware without software is useless. So for you to have a working computer, you must have a hardware first and then software that will run the instruction on it. This is the examples of hardware component of computer. This is a monitor, the CPU, the mouse, the motherboard, and anything that you can physically see and touch in a computer. The second most important component of computer is the software component. A software component is a set of instructions that tells the hardware what to do. You can see or touch the software, although you can see packages that contains the software. It is typically distributed on CD-ROM disk and is installed on the computer hard drive. This is the examples of computer software. We have Linux, Mac OS, Unix, Android, BlackBerry, and anything you can see within the computer screen. You can see it and work on it, but you can touch it. It's an example of computer software. Hi all. Today we are going to discuss about hardware component. Computer comprises of two major components, which is the hardware component and the software component. Hardware component is the physical component that the computer system requires to function. It encompasses everything with a circuit board that operates within a PC or laptop, including the motherboard, the graphic card, the central processing unit, which is the CPU, ventilation fans, webcam, power supply, and so on. These are the typical examples of computer hardware. This is the control unit, which contains all of these hardwares which is motherboard, the CPU cooler, the CPU itself, the power supply, the HDD, the SSD, RAM, and expansion cards. This is the mouse, which is an external computer hardware that is not inside the control unit. This is the monitor which display the video of the computer. This is the keyboard that requires which we use to enter the data into a computer, and these are the speakers which produce sounds. Please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the notification icon. Computer is comprised of two major components, which is the hardware component and the software component. Today we are going to talk about software component. Software is a set of instructions that operate a computer, manipulate the data, and execute particular functions or tasks. In other words, it is a program, routines, and symbolic languages that control the function of the hardware. There are two kinds of software. We have system software and application software. Let's start with the application software. Application software is a type of computer program that performs specific functions. These functions performed by application software can be personal, business, as well as educational. Thus, application software is also known as end-user software or productivity software. This is examples of application software. We have Photoshop, Microsoft Word, VLC Media Player, Internet browsers, Gmail, Audacity, and any software you are going to use to do some special operation or any program. Then system software. System software include the operating system and all the utilities that enable the computer to function. The most important program that runs on a computer is the operating system. So system software is generally the operating system of the computer. Without an operating system, computer cannot function. So these are examples of operating systems like Mac OS X, Microsoft Windows, Google Android, Unix, Linux, and so on. An operating system, or OS, is a system software that manages computer hardware, software resources, and provide common services for computer programs. An operating system is the main software that you will install after finish setting up your hardware. So after you finish setting up your hardware, you may install a Microsoft Windows or Apple Mac OS, or you can install a Linux on your computer depending on your hardware capacity. Or for example, if you are using Apple Mac, you have to install Mac OS X. You have to install Mac OS, or you can install Windows on it. And if you are using PC, you have to install Microsoft Windows or Linux on it. Here are the functions of operating systems. One of the functions of operating system is booting of computer. This is the first process which takes place the moment the computer's electrical switch is put on. During this process, all the peripherals connected to the computer are checked and validated. At the end of the validation processes, the OS signals the user to begin working on the computer. Then number two, managing the file system. The operating system group data together in logical compartments for storage on disks. This group of data are called files. The computer stores information in files. Files may contain program, instructions, or data created or used by a program. The OS maintains the list of files on a disk. It provides user interface. The OS provides an interface for the user either as a command line interface or as a graphical user interface. This enables the user to communicate with the computer. The number 4 function of OS is managing the hardware. OS controls and manages hardware resources. For example, OS manages the selection of operation of devices for input and output storage. In other words, the OS serves as an intermediary between the programs and hardware. Another function of OS is supporting programs. Another major function of an OS is to provide services for other programs. Often these services are similar to those that the OS provide directly to the user. For example, when you want a word processing program to retrieve a document, the word processor will list the files in the directory that you specify. That means if you have saved what document in Microsoft in Word or in desktop, you are going to locate it where you have saved it. Some of the other services that always provide to programs are saving files to disk, reading them from the disk into memory, checking available disk or memory space, allocating memory to hold data for a program. Then we have categories of an operating system. We have a multitasking operating system. This is an OS that is able to run more than one program task per operation time. Then number two, we have a multi-user operating system. A multi-user OS allows more than a single user access the computer at the same time. Of course, to accomplish this, a multi-user OS must be capable of multitasking. Only Unix OS and Windows NT are capable of supporting multiple users. Unix provide three ways to let people use the same PC at the same time. Then thirdly, we have multi-processing operating system. It's a special type of OS. It's required to use a computer equipped with more than one CPU. In other words, multiprocessing requires an OS capable of using and managing series of CPUs uh, of CPU. Then we have types of operating system. We have Apple iOS, which is used for iPhones. We have Microsoft Windows, which is used for PC. We have Mac OS, which is used for Apple Macintosh, and then we have Linux, which is also used for on any type of computer. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to hit the notification icon. The daily computers we are using in everyday working is personal computers. Personal computer is a general purpose, cost-effective computer that is designed to be used by a single end user. We have so many types of personal computers, starting from desktop. Desktop, this is a first type of PC and the most common. Most desktop are small enough to fit on a desk, but are still too big to carry around. This is a typical example of a desktop computer with the system case, which is the CPU, the monitor, the keyboard, mouse, and other things that made up the desktop. This is an example of an all-in-one desktop computer with a CPU and screen or monitor connected in the same place, and only you need to connect the power cable to the PC, the keyboard, and the mouse to start working with it. The second type is the laptop computer. Laptop, they weight about 10 pounds, which is about 4.5 kilogram. They are battery operated computers with built-in screen. They are designed to be carried and used in location without electricity. Laptop typically have an almost full-size keyboard. This is the example of laptop computer. The keyboard, the mouse, the control unit, the monitor, and everything are connected in a single casing to make it completely, and it has a built-in battery for backup, which we can take to somewhere where there is no electricity. Then another type is a netbook computer. They are similar to laptop and PCs, but they are similar to laptop and PCs, but smaller. They weigh about 67 pounds, which is 2.7 to 3.2 kilogram. As the name implies, they are approximately the size of a notebook and can easily fit inside a briefcase. This is an example of notebook computers, which is smaller than laptop computers. The next type is the palm top. They are also known as personal digital assistants, which is PDS, and are smallest of the portable computers. Palm top are touchless, are much less powerful than notebook or desktop models, and features built-in applications such as word processing. They are mostly used to display important telephone numbers and addresses. These are the examples of PDS or palm-top computers. Then we have functions of personal computers. Personal computers can do a lot of things. The most common tasks computers perform include writing documents such as memos, letters, reports, and briefs, budgeting and performing accounting tasks, analyzing numeric information, searching through a list of reports for specific information, scheduling and planning projects, creating illustrations, communicating by using electronic mail, advertising product and services. The central processing unit CPU is a tiny electronic chip known as microprocessor located in the system unit. It is installed on main circuit board of the computer, which is the motherboard. The CPU, as the name implies, is where information is processed within the computer. In this regard, you may think of CPU as a brand of computer. The CPU is otherwise known as microprocessor. Every CPU has at least two basic parts, which are the control unit, which is CU, and arithmetic and logic unit, ALU. The control unit, it coordinates all the computer activities and contains the CPU's instruction to carry out commands, while the arithmetic and logic unit is responsible for carrying out arithmetic and logic function. In other words, when the control unit encounters instructions that involve arithmetic and logic, it refers to the ALU, which means the control unit is the one coordinating the activities of the processor, while arithmetic and logic unit is the one responsible for holding the arithmetic and logical function of the processor. A typical modem processor speed ranges from about 1.0 GHz to 5.0 GHz, while Intel and AMD are the two most popular processor manufacturing companies in the world. These are the examples of one of the latest Intel Core i9 series processor, and this is one of the latest AMD Ryzen processor. Computer memory is the electronic holding place for instructions and data a computer needs to reach quickly. It is where information is stored for immediate use. Memory is one of the basic functions of a computer, because without it, a computer will not be able to function properly. Memory is also used by computers' operating system, hardware, and software. These are the typical example of computer memories. This is the flash drive, this is the hard disk drive, this is floppy disk. This is the another example of RAM, and this is an example of ROM. So let's go and discuss about the types of computer memory. There are technically two types of computer memory. We have primary memory and the secondary memory. Primary memory is the computer memory that the processor or computer accesses directly. It allows a processor to access running applications and services that are temporarily stored in specific memory locations. Primary memory is also known as primary storage or main memory. This is an example of primary memory, or we can call it RAM. Primary memory is a computer system's volatile storage mechanism. It may be random access memory, RAM, cache memory, or data buses, but is primarily associated with the RAM. As soon as a computer starts, primary memory loads all running applications, including the base operating system, which is OS, user interface, and any user install and running software utility. A program or any application that is open in primary memory interacts with the system processor to perform all application-specific tasks. Primary memory is considered faster than secondary memory. These are the examples of primary memories, which is RAM for desktop and for laptops. Then secondary memory, which is the second type of computer memory, is a computer memory that is non-volatile, persistent, and not immediately accessible by a computer or processor. It allows user to store data and information that can be retrieved, transmitted, and used by apps and services quickly and easily. Secondary storage is another name for secondary memory. We use so many things to input data into computer. An input device is any device that will allow you to input information or data into your computer, whether it's text, in form of text, in form of image, in form of video. All these things you have used are called input devices. An input device is any hardware device that sends data into a computer, allowing you to interact with and control it. The keyboard and mouse are the most commonly used or primary input devices on a computer. However, other devices also input data into a computer. Here are examples of input devices we have. We have a keyboard, which we use to input our data in form of numbers, alphabet, and so on. We have mouse, which will allow us to control the system and click on anything which we wanted to open. We have a scanner that will allow us to scan images, documents, lecture notes, brochures, and so many things. It will input it into computer as an image or any PDF format. We have a trackball, which allow us to also input data into computer. We have a microphone that we use to record our sound, music, and anything in audio into the computer. We have camera that will allow us to input any data in form of image, video, anything related to image. And we have a digitizer that will allow us to input data by using a pen into our computer. We have so many things. We have a fingerprint reader, which allows us to input data of our fingers and be used as a security for locking and unlocking of any device that uses a fingerprint system. We have a barcode scanner or barcode reader, which allow us to read the information of any products that we wanted to buy in supermarket or any place that uses the system. We have a remote control system, which we use to input to control any device that uses a remote control system. We have so many things like a gamepad, which we use to control our gaming system, and we use it to input the information in it and control our game. We have so many things that is used as an input device. Anything that you use to input information into computer is served as your input device. These are the example of the most commonly used input devices. When your computer has finished processing the information you have given to it, the next thing is to bring out the information that has been processed. So today we are going to talk about an output devices. An output device is any piece of computer hardware that receives data from a computer and then translates that data into another form, that they may be audio, visual, textual, or hard copy, such as a printed document. All these ones are the examples of output devices. We have a printer, which you use to print our document that the system has been processed. We have a monitor that displays the information from our system. We have a headphone that we use to hear our sound from the system. We have a sound card that will allow us to insert the audio system to it to bring out the audio system. We have speakers that we use to hear the music or any audio from the system. We have a video card which we use to display our video. Like for example, for gaming PC, they use this very good GPU or a video card that to display in good resolutions and graphics. We have plotters, we have GPS locations which we use to have information of our locations or anything we wanted to know, and we have a screen projector that displays the information on any wall or anywhere where the screen has been projected. And we have so many types of output devices that we have. Anything that display out the information from the computer, whether it's in text or in audio or in audio visual or in any form, is called an output devices. So we use output devices in many ways depending on the system and the situation that we wanted to use them. All this we have mentioned are called the output devices. There are numerous unique characteristics and features of computer. We will learn more about the characteristics of computers today to better understand them. The basic characteristics of computer are speed, accuracy, diligence, reliability, memory, logical versatility, automation, consistency, and remembrance power. So let's take each of them and explain it. We will start by with the speed. A computer device speed is extremely fast, as it can perform any calculation in seconds. This is one of the key characteristics of computers. Accuracy. This is an incredible characteristic of computer, which is their high level of accuracy. It is capable of performing 100% accurate calculations. Diligence. A computer is free of fatigue, lack of concentration, and so on. It can perform work for hours without making any mistakes. Reliability. A computer is a dependable machine that is capable of performing all tasks and operations at high speeds and with near perfect accuracy. Memory. Memory on computers is comparable to that of in human brain. It is used to store data and directions. Computer memory is the storage space on the computer where data to be processed and processing instructions are stored. It has both primary and secondary storage. Logical. A computer system has certain characteristics such as capability of thinking, reasoning, and learning. These characteristics of computer help them perform tasks logically, and these characteristics have been further developed into what we today known as artificial intelligence (AI). Versatility. Because computers are so versatile, they can perform almost any task that can be reduced to a series of logical steps. It refers to the ability or adaptation to quickly switch from one task to another. The computer can smoothly transition from one task to another. Automation. Automation is the use of technology to complete a task with little human interaction as possible. In computing, automation is typically accomplished through the use of program, script, or batch processing. Remembrance power. A computer is capable of storing an unlimited amount of information or data. Any information can be stored and retrieved for as long as you need it for an unlimited number of years. Consistency. The computer is so consistent that it can perform trillions of processes without errors for several hours. This means that we can use a computer 24 hours a day or 365 days a year continuously. Applications of computer. The various applications of computer are computer is used in business, it is used in education, in marketing, banking, insurance, communications, healthcare, military, and engineering design. In business, a computer has high speed of calculation, diligence, accuracy, reliability, or versatility, which made it an integrated part in all business organizations. Education. Computers have its dominant use in education fields, which can significantly enhance performance in learning. In marketing, computer is also used in marketing. In marketing, uses of computer are in advertising. With computer advertising, professionals create ads and graphics, writes and revise copy and prints. It disseminates art with the goal of selling OMO catalogs that provide access to product information and permit direct entry of orders to be filled by the customers. In banking, today banking is almost totally dependent on computer. Banks provide facilities banks provide online accounting facility which include current balance, deposit, overdraft, interest charges, shares, and trustee record. ATM machines are making it even easier for customers to deal with banks. Insurance. Insurance companies are keeping all record up to date with the help of computer. The insurance companies finance houses and stockbroking firms are widely using computers for their concern. In communication, computer means to convey a message, an idea, a picture or speech that is received and understood clearly and correctly by the person for whom it is meant for. Some main areas in the category are chatting, email, Usenet, FTP, video conferencing, and the telnet. In healthcare, most of the medical information can now be digitized from the prescription to report. Computation in the field of medicine allows us to offer varied miraculous therapies to the patient. ECG's radiotherapy wasn't possible without computer. In military, computers are the main tools which help in developing missiles and other equipment in the defense system. Designing and the maintenance are possible only through computers. engineering design. As per, as per As per the title, computers aid in designing, building magazines, print, newspaper, books, and many others. The construction layout are designed beautifully on system using different software. The internet is a global system of interconnected computer network that uses internet protocol suite TCP and IP to communicate between networks and devices. Internet is a network of networks that consists of private, public, academics, business, and government networks of local to global scope, linked by a broad array of electronic, wireless, and optical networking technologies. The internet carries a vast range of information resources and services, such as interlinked hypertext documents and applications of the World Wide Web, www, electronic mail, telephony, and file sharing. We have a variety of applications of internet. Internet is used in sending and receiving mails. It is used in searching and browsing information archives, copying files between computers, conducting financial transactions, navigating in your car, smart scooter, smart bike, or other things, playing interactive games, video and music streaming, chat or voice communication, direct messages, video conferencing,